Alright guys, so in this video we're checking out the Foxeer Wildfire receiver module for your Fat Shark style goggles, and in this video I'm going to compare it to the Rapidfire module, and I'm going to use a just like a tiny whip style drone here. This is the UAV UR65 25 milliwatt video transmitter, and I'll have a overview of the module itself and how the menus work and everything. At the end of the video I'll stick a little timestamp here on the screen if you're interested in how to actually use the module. It's pretty simple to do. Now for this test, basically, this module is doing kind of similar things to what the Rapidfire is doing in terms of sort of combining the two different video feeds into a single better looking feed, but it has one big difference here in the way it handles the low RSSI situations. When you have a very low RSSI situation on the Rapidfire, you typically, on a lot of cameras, will get a what's called a video sync interrupt, I guess. Basically, the two video feeds get out of sync and you get some really wacky results. You'll see that in this video from the Rapidfire. This is the main reason why I actually don't use the Rapidfire, because for me as a reviewer, I use lots of different video transmitters, different antennas, different cameras, different drones, and I was finding that as I kept switching, I was having a lot of these desync type of issues where the video, I would just lose video and end up just crashing, and it happened a lot. I stopped using it. Now the Wildfire supposedly fixes that problem, so when it detects a low RSSI situation, instead of losing the sync and you're getting bad video or unflyable video, it actually reverts back to what people refer to as mode 2 or legacy mode on the Rapidfire. That's apparently what happens here on the Wildfire. So that's kind of the big difference here. I'm not really sure why they haven't implemented that in firmware on the Rapidfire, which they should do, instead of having to manually go to legacy mode, because essentially legacy mode on the Rapidfire is really no different from a lot of old style diversity receiver modules. It doesn't do any of that fancy video stream melding that you see. That magic doesn't happen. So I do like the fact that there's a fallback on the Wildfire, and you'll see that in the side-by-side video between these two. Now I have the Rapidfire and the HDO2s here, and I've got the Wildfire in my Dominator V3s using the same antennas. Got the Rush Cherry antenna here, and the other one is a Xylo circular polarized antenna. So I'm just using two circular polarized antennas. These the receiver modules are upstairs, and that's where I'm flying, and the drone is downstairs in my house by the garage. So there's like a floor, and there's like a bunch of walls, and I'm actually flying between the cars, so there's a lot of metal. So I'm trying to simulate an environment with a lot of multipath issues. Yeah, I know you guys are going to be like, oh, you should fly here or there. And I'm not going to take any requests to fly any places I don't normally fly, because I don't have time for that. So if you are looking for me to do test of A and B and C and whatever at XYZ type locations, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be doing some small tests on places I can normally fly at, that have access to, that isn't going to take up too much time. So yeah, this is what you're going to see here. This is honestly, when Rapidfire is working, it looks better to me. But then when you have the desync, whatever, the video goes out of sync, then yeah, you can't fly, you crash. So it's just, that's a big downside on the Rapidfire for me, which is why I don't use it. If I fly this normal path here where I'm upstairs and I'm flying into the garage downstairs on my sky zones, it's definitely worse than both of these, but I'm still able to fly, and it's basically just standard diversity. You get a lot of video breakup, but it's still, in my opinion, flyable, even with not so great antennas either. So anyway, just wanted to give you a background on the test. I'll show you two side-by-side feeds here. You guys can judge for yourself what you guys think, and then at the end I will show you an overview of the Wildfire module and how it works. Alright, so I'm going to do a quick overview on the module and show you how it works, and let's go ahead and power this up. Now, as far as I know, there's no additional fancy power things you need to do on here to get it working. Like on the Dominator V3 with Rapidfire, you have to actually get extra power from the other side. I didn't have to do that with this. It seemed to work just fine. As far as I know, that's not required. So typically you start off in this channel mode here, and I'll show you what channel you're on. If you want to change channels, you can move this joystick up and down. So up goes to A1, and then you can see the progression. You can stay within the A band as such. If you want to switch bands, you long press, and it'll switch to R band. And of course you can go down, so that will go to R5, 6, 7, 8, etc. If you want to go to basically outside of this and see the other menus, so this is the channel menu or the channel mode. Click to the left, and you get out to the main menu. So you can hit channel, and then you hit right and left here. So you see the different modes. There's favorites, finder, band scan, and settings. And I do want to show you that there is an OSD that you can see on the screen. So you don't actually have to take the goggles off to see this, and you can actually turn that OSD on and off. So let me go ahead and plug in a screen here where you can see what that video feed looks like. Okay, so I got a screen plugged in, and it's going to be a little tricky doing this with one hand, but let's see if we can do it. So to go into settings, you can see here the main menu, channel, favorites, finder, band scan, settings. So you go into there, you just press the button, and you can see we have switching, fast. Let's see here, we have fast. This is too difficult doing this with one hand. So you press this, and if you press the button, it'll switch. So you have off, fast, and slow. So obviously we want that to be fast. You have the OSD menu here, so this is quite difficult to do one-handed. Okay, so if you want to switch the OSD menu off, you click that, and that turns it off. But you can see on the external menu that you can still see the menu, so you can check that box and just click the button again. I'll turn the OSD on so you can actually see what's going on inside the goggles. On the down, let's just go down to show RSSI. So on my joystick here, the down switch doesn't seem to work so great, so I'm going to hit the up, go into show SSR. You can actually change the position, so with the RSSI on different parts of the screen, or you can turn it off, and I'll leave it back to there. And Fat Shark switch, that's turned off. You can actually use that to use the buttons here to change your channel within the band, within the channels there, but I'll leave that off because I don't actually ever use that. And then you can turn all bands on or off here. So if you do that, you'll get 9 different bands instead of 5. So it's like a lot of the ones that aren't actually legal to use. So I recommend leaving that off. And then the last menu item there is fan. So you can turn the fan on and off. And you can tell it's not very noisy. So I'll just leave that on. So if you go back into the channel menu, you can see all the different channels. And if there's a signal on one of these channels, it'll actually show up here. So let me plug something in. Okay, so we can see here when you bring up the channel menu, there's a RSSI signal on R1, and this is the UR65 that I just plugged in, and then you have the RSSI here on the upper left hand corner of the screen, which is, you can turn that off and move that around on the screen as well. And you also have it on the main screen on the outside of the goggle. Now if you want to make a certain channel a favorite, you can press the stick to the right and hold, and it puts a little heart there on the outside, and when you bring up the channel menu, you'll see a heart there next to R1. And then if you go back out to the main menu, and if you go to your favorites, and if we go in here, then you can see the R1 will show up in your list, and you can have up to 8 different favorites in your 8 different channels in your favorites. Okay, so the finder mode is if you want to search for a lost drone, for example, then it will, you know, you can, I think you put like a patch antenna on, I think it's on the lower receiver over here, and then you'll get an RSSI signal on the screen to see how close and how strong the signal is. And you can also see here on the outside, as I rotate this RSSI will change right here, and I'll give you an idea of how strong the signal is. That's how finder mode works. Okay, so the last one I'll show you is the Dan scan mode. You go in here and it will try and find the best signal, and it's saying that A2 is the best signal. So if you click on that, it'll go into the A band and actually tune into A2. This one I found is not working so great, so it's typical for a lot of band scanning features. It typically doesn't find the right channel, and this is no different from a lot of ones I've seen before. Anyway, it's going to do it for this quick overview of the module. If you guys have any questions about this Wildfire module, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.